Hello and welcome back to part 2 of my restaged Kerpollo XIII mission in KSP version 0.18. My name is Matthias Weiss, and this episode will feature the actual landing with our new designed lander on the moon. Uh, It looks a little bit different than the original lander I used in version 0.17 with the Erkle docking mod, because we don't have one of these big RCS tanks on our lander, but instead we have 4 tiny RCS tanks, so we have a little bit capability for RCS, and we also have landing lights here. The rest is basically the same, but in this time we also carry our fuel in external tanks additional to the main fuel tank, because these fuel lines don't break up when we just disconnect our ship. So what we do now, because we are already traveling a long time in daylight here, we will just make one full rotation until we come back into the sunny side. So we will have a very shallow approach this time, so it's always good to wait for the sun to rise. It makes it a lot easier. Okay, let's see. There's the sun coming up again. Let's just go a little further. Okay, that should be enough. We have already Bob and Jebediah in our landing craft. So what we can do now is just wait a second. But first we can reactivate our engine. And undock the spacecraft. So now we are still controlling our main spacecraft, but we will switch to our lander module now. Activate the RCS, push it away a little bit, and to the side. Because when we start to fire our engine, we don't want to damage our main ship. So let's find retrograde vector, because we're still in a 15-kilometer orbit. I will not use the map mode, as I said earlier. But if we fire up the engines now, we would definitely crash into our spacecraft. So let's see if we can push it away a little bit more. Okay, that should be safe enough. And as I try to start the engine, there's a little bug with multiple MacJabs attached to different parts of the vessel, so I can't control my lander now. There's an easy trick to do that. You have to go back to the Space Center, back to the map mode, and where is the lander? Lander orbiting the moon. Select it. And now it's working. So we can use smartass to keep us retrograde. And just fire up the engine until we get to perhaps to minus 140. Then we will kill it again. that should be fine. So, as I said, I use MacJab as much as possible, and so all I have to do now is hit land and wait. Because we will definitely come down here. Okay, let's get just a little bit lower first. That's okay. And now let's MacJab take over. Pull out the landing gear. And the rest is a fully automated landing on the moon. You see our spacecraft, which is still orbiting the moon, is above us. And we come in with a very, very high lateral velocity, but this is not a problem anymore, because with the latest version of MacJab, it makes a really, really smooth landing. Set the touchdown speed to 0.5 meters per second, and we'll turn it around to kill off the velocity very late, but it really looks nice. And these fuel lines are working. It's an equal drain from all three tanks. We have a full tank for our return, and we can even should be able to transfer some of this fuel into our main ship to have an extra. So yeah, if you see here, we're coming in quite fast. Looks quite suicidal. There's a suicide burn. Turns around just in the right minute. There's a shadow. And a touchdown at 0.5 meters per second. Yeah, we've did it. We are on the moon. So what we do now, switch on the lights. And because lights require energy, extend our solar panels to keep the batteries charged, at least during daytime. Extend the ladder. And we found a pretty nice landing spot here. A very flat area. Well, it's on the edge of a crater, I think. But as I said, I didn't pick a landing spot from space using the map mode, so I totally relied on MacJab to do it. Time for Jebediah to go out and set his foot on the moon. There we are. And Bill, of course, oh crap, can come out too. Whoppa. And there we are. Isn't that beautiful? Solar panels perfectly, not perfectly, but good enough pointed to the sun. So sun exposure of 0.7%. It's much more than we need to keep our lights energized. Yeah, from this point I will have to do some test flights to get back into orbit for a rendezvous, because I think the rendezvous module, or the choose target, I don't know if it works. I will have to test it out if it works or if it doesn't work. But what we definitely have to do, we added the path and switch the turn altitude to 0, the end altitude to 10 kilometers, and directly start the turn. 50% turn shape is enough, and the orbit altitude we want to achieve is 15 kilometers. So everything's prepared for a relaunch, and the next episode will then show you how I get back to rendezvouz and then fly back to Kerbin. Thank you for watching. My name is Matthias Weiss, and stay tuned for the third part and last part of this mission before I will start to build up a space station. Okay, see you next time. Ciao.